and welcome to Youth Code Jam's online Bits and Bytes lessons. Today we will be working with the online editor Microsoft's MakeCode microbit. This editor is intended to work with physical microbits, so we'll go over how to download code if you do have one at home, but the activity itself was designed to work with the online simulator, which we'll see in just a bit. Today we're going to be making a special calculator that will calculate approximately how old someone is in both years, months, days, and years, months, and days, sorry. And so let's go ahead and get started. We'll need to open a new browser window or a new tab in our browser. So in the new tab, you can just Google, if you don't know it, you can Google microbit MakeCode. This is a search. And it's going to be the one, it should be the one at the top of your page. The URL you're looking for is makecode.microbit.org. And that's going to take you to the main landing page that looks something like this. So I don't have an account, but it has saved a bunch of projects I've made because of cookies. So you don't need to have an account to save projects that you've made. You can create one if you want. I do believe it's free. But if you have certain cookies enabled, it will automatically default to these. So what you need to do here is click New Project, this big purple block. And we're going to give our project a name. And you can name this any one you want. I'm going to call it Age Calc, short for Age Calculator. But again, you can name it anything you want. Once you've named it, press Create. And this is going to be our editor that we work with. So it starts off with an onStart block and a forever block in our code. We're going to leave those there for now. This is our workspace over here on the right side of the screen. In the middle we have our drawers, our block drawers. So there's some simple ones right there, and then if you really want to get fancy with your code, there's more options down here and you can add extensions. On the far left, this is going to be our simulator. So we have a way to press A and B if we need to do movements with the microbit in our code. Those options will show up here, but we'll be able to simulate this. If you have speakers on and we start adding sound, you will start hearing this. Sometimes the microbit just runs on its own. So you can always press stop if you see it running, so it will gray out and it won't run until we press play again. So I'm probably going to leave mine like that for now, and we'll go over how to use it for our program once we finish the code. So before we add any more blocks to our code, we need to add 3 variables to keep track of the years old we are, the days old we are, and the months old we are. So head over here to the Variables tab and click the Make a Variable button. You're going to name one variable age year. You can do spaces. This format is called camel case. It's very common in most programming languages, so Java, C, JavaScript, a lot of them are going to use that kind of case style to name variables. If you are more familiar with Python, you'll see age_year. That's called snake case. So either one, just try to avoid spaces in general because it's not good programming practice. So age year, press OK. And then I'm going to do that 2 more times, and we're going to make one that says age month and age days. Or I guess if you really wanted to be grammatically correct, you could say age months and then age days. So with those created, we are going to give them some starting values when our code first opens up or first runs. So we're going to grab 3 of these set variable name to 0 blocks and just drag them into our workspace for now. If they attach, that's fine. We're going to put all 3 of these into our onStart block. So I'm going to move this forever block over here and just grab this on my block I made and put it inside. So now we have 3 set blocks, and you can see they're all set to age days. We're going to use our drop down option here. So click that little arrow, that little triangle that points down, and change age days to age year on the first one. And on the second one, change age days to age months. And we'll leave the last one as is. So when we start the program, our code is our variables here is set to 0, which is where we want them to start. We don't want them with a starting value because that will mess up our math later. So each time we start the code, we want it set to 0. The next thing we're going to do is have some output that will appear on the screen or these lights of our microbit so the user knows how to use the program. So head over to the basic drawer now, it's the very top drawer, and you're going to get the block that says show string and has hello, and add that under our last set block. And we're going to type in a pretty long phrase here, but that's okay. So we're going to have the program ask, how old are you? And then we're going to tell them how to enter that number, because there's no way to enter an actual number. You actually are going to press a button so many times. So press A button to add a year, and then press the B button to confirm. So I know you can't see it, it's gone off the screen here, but if I push it, it says to confirm at the end. Actually says there we go, to confirm. So what this means is that if you were to add, if you wanted to say you're 3 years old, you're going to press the A button 3 times and then press B to enter that number. And then we're going to have some math that goes on in the background. Okay. So the next step is we're going to add some code to actually handle those inputs. So this all just automatically runs from and comes from the microbit or from the program. We need a way to interact with the microbit itself now. So head over to the input drawer, and you're going to grab 2 of these top blocks that says on button A pressed. So we're going to add 2 of those to our code. And you'll see that my first one I added, or the one that's not clicked, I guess, one of them grayed out right here. So we can't have the same code twice. We can't have identical code within the program. So on that second one I added, I'm going to use the drop down and change A to B. And I'm just going to kind of give them a little space between each other. So the first thing we're going to do is when we press A, we're going to have it do math while we're pressing that button before we confirm. So we're going to make some changes to our values up here. So head over to the variables drawer, and we're going to get 3 of these change blocks right here and just add them to our code inside that press A, button A block. The first one, we're going to change age days to age year. And we're going to leave that at 1 because each click is 1 year. And then the other 2, we have to do a little bit of math. So on the second one, change that from age days to age months. And since there's 12 months in a year, we're going to change that by 12. So each time we click a button, each time we click the A button, year will increase by 1, age months will increase by 12. So if I click the A button twice and submit, year will be 2, and months will be 24. The very last one we're going to do is days. We don't need to change the value in the variable name in this block, but we do need to change 1 to 365 because there are 365 days in a year. So if I only had 1 year entered, then the output would be 1, 12, and 365. Okay, so that takes care of that's all we need to do for math because we're basically doing kind of a cheat at addition here by increasing by these values. So we don't need to do any other math for that. And the last thing we're going to do is show the number. So to do that, we need to come up here to Basic and get Show Number and add it to the bottom of A. And then head back to Variables and get the block that says Age Year and drop it over that 0. So when we're done, we should see Age Year once we're done changing those variables at the very least. It will show, okay, so what's going to happen here is as we're increasing the button, we'll see the years increasing. Clicking the button, we'll see the years increasing. Okay, so that's all the code for button A. Now we're going to move over here to button B. And this code is going to show the final output or the final values of all of our stuff. And it's going to be a little tricky, so we're going to go slower on this part. The first thing you want to do is head up to that basic drawer and get another show string hello block. Place it inside on button B. Then, let's see, then we want to go to, we're going to use that advanced drawer and we're going to click this text tab right here. So we're going to have some text going on. And we want to use this join hello world block and place it over the hello. So the point of the join block is that it's going to allow us to add as many blanks as we need, and so that we can have a full sentence as output. Because we have 3 variables we have to output. So we'll get the numbers from the variable blocks that we've been using and then frame them inside of some strings. So I want you to click the plus sign 5 times. So we're going to add 5 more blanks to this code. So you're going to come to the end of that join block where it has the plus minus sign. So you see I accidentally pressed minus and it took that away till it just says hello. We want a total of 7 blanks. So I'm going to add, if you didn't accidentally delete world, then from there you only need to click plus 5 times. Hold on, let me count 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry, 6. We need 6, not 7 blanks total. So there's 3, 4, 5. You see at 5, it made it vertical instead of horizontal, and 6. So in the very first blank, you're going to replace hello with you, are, and after are, hit the space key 1 time, because we want to make sure there's a space between are and whatever we put in this next blank, which we're actually going to skip for now. But if you don't add in spaces like you naturally would, they will not show up in the code. So that's something you have to tell the program to do, is to put a space here or a space there. You're going to jump down to the 3rd blank. So you are is in 1. We're skipping 2. We're heading to 3. And in that 3rd blank, you're going to type years, old, comma, and then again add a space to the end there. And then add a skip 4 and go to 5. And in there type months, old, comma, and then put the word and after the comma, so there's a space, and then a space after and. And I was wrong, we actually did need 7 blanks, so I'm going to add the plus sign 1 more time. And in this very last blank, I'm going to type days, old, and put a period at the end. So again, that whole one in blank 1, you're typing you are and putting a space after are. In blank 3, we typed years old, comma, and then a space after the comma. In blank 5, we typed months old, comma, and put a space after and. And in the very last one, blank 7, we typed days old and put a period at the end. The next step is very simple. We're just going to head to the variables drawer here, and we're going to get each of these oval blocks. So I'm going to grab age year and place it in blank 2, and then go back to variables and get age months and place it in blank 4, and then back to variables and grab age days and place it in blank 6. So what will be read from here is the number we told the program to be. So if I put in 2 years, 2 will be pulled from our variable. If I put in then 24 months and then 365 times 2 is. So that will be pulled there. And that's the end of our code. Now there is a little bit of trickiness with running this. So when we first run the program, you have to wait for this entire sentence to scroll across the microbit before you start clicking A. So it's a little slow, but you'll see what we mean. We shouldn't have any sound on this, but if you do, it might be really loud, so you might want to turn your speakers down or your headphones down. So to run the code, come over to our simulator, and underneath we have a little green play button. Press that, and you're going to see that the microbit gets all colorful again, and you can see the words scrolling across the string. So it's asking me how old, and it's telling me the directions. So it says, how old are you? Now we're on press the A button to add a year. So you can see it's pretty slow, but you do need to wait until you see the end of the word confirm before pressing the A button. Otherwise, the microbit is not going to work and you're going to get stuck in a loop here on your age. So now we're on the last part. Press the B button to confirm. Button 2, and here comes confirm. And now that that's done, we can start pressing A. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's stop at 5. So I'm going to say I'm 5 years old. We're going to press B. And now it's going to output for it. So that says you are 5 years old. 60 months old. And let's see how many days. 1825 days old. It's 1,825 days old. And then the program will stop and you can hit the stop button and start over later. I don't know if you guys caught it, but I did. After our numbers were printed, there was no space between years, months, and days. So if you want to fix that, if it bothers you, you can click back in there and add a space before years, a space before months. You can see I'm having to double click in front of those words, and a space before days, and that will run the program. Now, if you do have a microbit at home, you can download it to your computer by just clicking the download button. So I don't have one, but I'm going to at least show you. So it will pop up the steps here. You will have to have your device plugged in first, so it wants you to connect the microbit to the computer using the cable it came with, and then you'll move the hex file, which will have the same name as your program down here. So mine says age calculator, and it will have a .hex extension. You're going to drag that file to where the microbit shows on your computer. So if we go to my Finder window here, and if you have Windows, this will be your file folder. On the side, you can see what's connected to my computer. Under locations, and I think on Windows it might be devices, you'll see other devices connected to me. So I really only have my MacBook. But if I had the microbit plugged in, it would show up down here, or it might show up on my desktop because that's how a Mac works. And then I would drag and drop that file from my downloads folder into the device. So let's pretend this image right here is, I could just drag it over here, and then it should be able to run on your device. It's not downloading for me again because I don't have it. But if you do have questions about that, you can just do a quick Google search or head to home on how to download so that you can actually play with it on the microbit. That's all we have for today. I hope you guys had fun with this activity. You can keep exploring with it by seeing if you can break it down into other increments, such as hours, minutes, and seconds. And then maybe see what else you can quantify that can be broken down into smaller measurements in the program that converts to you. So maybe how many inches, feet, and yards are in a mile, something like that. So play around. That's good practice for measurement conversions, which you'll have to know in a lot of math classes. We'll be back with a new activity in a couple days. If you would, if you're interested in joining us online instead of doing these virtually, you can head to youthcodejam.org, and under Find Programs, head to Bits and Bytes, And if you just want to register, you can click on this button and it will take you to our partners page, Palo Alto. And they are currently running the Spring 2021. They're hosting our Bits and Bytes series for us, and you can register for all sessions or choose which 2-week series you would like to be a part of. So our spring session ends at the end of May of 2021, and then we'll see if we have summer or we'll be back in the fall. Until our next video, have a great day.